All right, so now let's do the next hard part. So let's get rid of this. Let's say we've got this one layer. We want to do something with text. We want to do something phenomenally different with text. So I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna say, get well. All right, I'm using a bigger, thicker text font so that it actually fills up the space better. And then I'm gonna come over here, I'm gonna make it bigger, see how big 72 is. I want it to be a little bigger than that. So let's come up here and say 150 and get well, boom, just like that. All right. So let's go in here. All right, so that's my text. It's on a text layer. And what I want to do is I want to have this do a couple of things. Well, first off, let's talk about layer effects that you can use. So you have the layer effects, it's the FX symbol down here. I'm gonna come in here, click on the little FX, and I can do a drop shadow, give it some depth. You see how a little shadow appears around there? Now what happens is whatever's checked here is on, whatever's gray, so I can come over here, cut that on, and I don't see the controls for it. But if I click on it, I can see the controls over here when it's gray. But I want to do drop shadow, put a little bit in there, something like that. But let's say I want to do something more interesting with this. I can come in here, I can increase the opacity of the drop shadow, and I can come back over here to the text layer. I can, first off, let's not make it black and white. I have to say okay to that. So let's go over here, let's change the text to blue. All right. So now my text has color to it. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to go back to the little FX layer, just kind of show you a few of the things you can do. You can bevel and emboss. That gives it a sense of 3D proportions. I'm going to cut that one off. You can stroke it. And what that does is it puts a line around the outside. This really allows you to make things accentuate, pop out a little bit better. An inner shadow puts the light so that this looks like it's pushed down, not out. So it's not floating, it's receding. Inner glow, same thing, just using light as opposed to shadow. Satin gives it a texture. I'm generally not a huge fan of satin, makes it things hard to read, especially if the text is small. You never want a satin with small text. Color overlay is just like putting an overlay of different color. Gradient overlay, you can go over here and adjust your gradient. We need to get that tool. So I can come over here, I can adjust where the black is, white is. You see how that's starting to create some changes in the text behind me. We'll come over here. All right. So I can make changes like that. There's a lot of really powerful things you can do. Pattern overlay lets you put a pattern in it. You can choose different patterns here, trees, that kind of thing. It'll let you create some sort of sense of texture and outer glow. There's a couple of other things that we're going to talk about a little further down the road, but just using those, I want you to experiment with the text and see if you can get it to really pop. All right, that's all there is to that.